AARP card?
No, but I do have one. Remember, I am old.
Hey, good evening if you're watching live. Welcome to episode 195 of About the Cards podcast live tonight on YouTube. As always, with host Stefan Loeffler at Junkwax Twins.
Oh, hi.
Myself, Ben Wilson, at Our Trading Cards. We're a podcast by collectors, for collectors, and we hope to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. All cards tell a story. What stories do your cards tell? We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
Go ahead, Rich.
Hi there.
Nope, 10 Central.
10 Central on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at About the Cards. We're available as a podcast everywhere you can find one. Just one quick note. As always, there's always going to be a lot of changes to the release calendar. Blowout Buzz sent out a tweet with a slew of date changes across pretty much all sports. So make sure to check in on the release calendar for your favorite upcoming releases to see if they've moved. They probably have. This just in, 2021 Big League Baseball is still MIA, so we'll see it in a couple years, perhaps.
And I do want to say hi to everyone in chat. Rich, of course, but he's here. Matt McNeil, who I think we have a topic from later. Mark Wilkins, Ben commented. Ben's dad commented. Tom Rosser, I've been watching you guys for a long time, watching live for the first time tonight.
That's awesome, Tom. You're in for a treat. Unfortunately, Kyle with Collector Caps had to reschedule. We're going to push him back to April 20th. And then Andrew Renault was going to sit in with us as well, and he was a little under the weather. So we went big, and we got the Uncle Rich Klein. Not just any, the Rich Klein.
How are you? It's good to see you.
It is. It's always fun to give you a hard time, and I was just kind of spitballing earlier saying, hey.
Hold on one sec. This is Stefan's webcast, and I'm going to do a special guest.
Hi, family.
Say hi to Stefan and Ben, his partner in the show. Say hi, honey.
Hi, Stefan. Hi. What was it?
His name is Ben. His name is Ben.
Ben. Nice to meet you.
How are you, young lady?
I'm holding down the fort.
Makes sense.
Keeping my mom in line.
We'll have to have you on a future podcast to find out what it's like being married to Uncle Rich.
Okay. He may not like it as much, but
Then we'll love it. The juicier it gets, the better it'll be for our listeners.
Indeed.
Well,
as
at
well as
least
File and Herman.
the room has a lot less boxes.
And there'll be a lot less in a couple more weeks.
So
Look at you. Well, we appreciate you letting us borrow him for a little bit tonight.
I didn't even know he got on. So
They asked me to get on. All their other
Cool.
guests left, so I was a little more awake because I took basically a 2-hour nap when I got home.
That's right. Well,
Which
we don't.
straightened up his boxes.
And now I needed the nap.
I love seeing Uncle Rich get scolded live on YouTube at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 Central.
Look, this is way past my bedtime.
Sorry, Forensic Files. You have to wait tonight.
Yeah. So we don't have any show notes. We were not planning on having a guest
Close the
after
door, please, so this way I don't wake
scheduling
them up.
changes. And we are delighted to have Uncle Rich on. We don't have any topics.
So first, and Steph and Ange came up. They helped both my mother-in-law and I. Dina referred to that with
Stupid
some
Windows.
computer issues on Monday. So we were all in my office, and this nice young lady walks by, sees Angela and Stefan sitting there. And on Tuesday, yesterday she goes to me, was that your wife and your son with you in the office?
Yes, it was.
I don't know whether that's a compliment to me or not one to Angela.
I think it's a compliment to you. You must look really young there, young man.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, Rich. Would you consider yourself a pack odd expert? by
A
chance?
what?
Pack odds.
No, I'm not an expert on anything. But, pack odds are printed, so...
So let me ask you a question, because one of our really good friends of the show, Matt McNeil, came to me. He's looking for the 2021 Stadium Club Chrome Jose Altuve Wave Refractor. He pulled the Superfractor, which is awesome because he's an Astros guy. So, I mean, you want to talk about...
If he's an Astros fan, he's a smart man.
Yeah, so to pull an Altuve Superfractor is pretty cool. So he needs the Wave to complete his rainbow.
It's for Korea.
Was it Correa, not Altuve?
It doesn't matter. They're both good. They're both wonderful players.
One of the cheaters.
Correa's now a twin, so no wonder Stefan brings him up.
I don't know why.
So he's looking for the Wave. I had a very big challenge finding the McGuire, and he was reaching out, and he's like, "Do you know how many of these they made? Because I can't find the one I'm after." And based on an article that was written by somebody, basically the pack odds suggest that a Superfractor is this difficult to pull, and it's 12 times easier to pull the Wave. That wouldn't equate to there being only 12 copies, right? I mean, that math doesn't seem like that adds up.
Well, there's so many different types of waves, though. So I mean, I don't, I could look up when I'm at work in the in the ComC database. So you can check the ComC database for how many different types of waves there are, or just do it from comc.com. But I will tell you that what type of wave is he referring to, because sometimes there are different colors of waves too.
Just like the regular silver wave that.
A silver wave, I think, is more common than that, but I don't know. I mean, plus was 2021 like 2020 the year they really goofed around and had basically 2 Stadium Club Chrome sets?
So in 2020, when they actually released the independent Stadium Club Chrome, they had already done the Chrome refractors on a limited checklist in the base. So basically,
right.
You're getting
and trust
same ones
me,
over
I
again.
hate that. Trust me, that is the most goofed up thing they did in 2020 was the Stadium Club Chrome. I just literally wanted to tear out what's left of my hair.
I mean, it was a beautiful product. If they had,
it's a great product, but it was so darn confusing.
It was redundant. Change the image, because I can't tell you the difference between the McGuire.
Some of them they did, but some of them they didn't.
Stadium Club Chrome from base and the Stadium Club Chrome from the Chrome release.
Yeah.
But if anybody out there listening knows what the estimated print run of the Wave refractors were from 2021, they're just not available. So it's very hard to. Maybe they're only in 10 or 12. It just didn't seem like the math equated to that, and I was too lazy to try to figure it out on my own today. So I figured,
I don't. There's so much. I try. This is why I try to avoid the new cards. I can't figure it out.
So, speaking of, your head is like your memory is like a vault, because when you're on with Dr. Jim Beckett on his podcast,
you talking to me or him?
Both of you guys. You guys are father and son.
That's right. Don't ever forget that, Stefan.
Either that or Rich is you, and you're like back from the future or something. You're the younger version. But when you're on with when you're on, I almost said Uncle Jim.
Well, yeah, I call him Uncle. I call him Uncle Jim sometimes.
You guys will be talking about like 1972 tops, and somebody will come up and you'll be like, "Okay, card 611 was this guy, and there was an error on 370." It's like you have the entire tops print run for every year.
Well, that's memorized. My sweet spot. That's the stuff when I was a kid. I know it's hard to believe. My wife, who you just saw, thinks I'm hatched. But that's when I was a kid. I collected those cards from the packs. I learned those cards. We didn't have a lot of other stuff to do in those days. So I memorized those darn cards. Plus, I handled enough collections where I learned them even more. The amazing thing is when Dr. Jim and I do those podcasts, we do them. I do that. He preps. I do them cold.
Yeah. And that's what's impressive. You pull. I mean, like, literally, I'm driving down the freeway listening to you guys, and I'm like, is there not a card that he knows by heart of who it is and what position he played and what error? I mean, it is impressive. If you haven't listened to him.
I enjoyed our 80, we did 81 Flair and 81 Donruss recently. And I enjoyed those because I actually collected those out of the packs too. Because those packs were cheap and they were fun.
Yeah, your line about you being hatched, there's a line in the West Wing when President Bartlett asked Leo, he goes, "Were you just born at the age of 53?
Mickey Mantle in the 1952 World Series, Casey Stengel took Mantle to Ebbets Field and showed him, where the wall is and how the caroms were going off the wall. And Mantle looking at him dumbfounded. And Casey later says, in one of these rare moments of pure lucidity where he doesn't spend 20 minutes getting to the point, "So do you think I was born at the age of 60?
There are just some people. It's hard to believe that Uncle Rich was 6 years old one time and had scraped knees and was playing outside with sticks and rocks back in the day. Since that's what you guys have.
Just remember, I'm old enough that dirt was just a thought before, when I was young.
Yeah, I was going to say, just for the record, when Rich was 6, my dad was being born. So there's that. Setting the record straight here.
Yeah. So there was an interesting topic that came up. It's not part of our show notes. That came up on Facebook. Somebody had said that they own a card and they were looking to list it on eBay, and there were none listed, active listings. So his would be the only at market. The first one sold for $130. The second sold for $75. So there are 2 sold comps, but nothing currently listed. And he basically said, okay, what do I list mine at? And, what's it worth? And the idea behind it is technically it's worth nothing.
It's worth the obvious answer. It's worth what someone is willing to pay for it.
Right, which is the most layman. And his idea was, what do I list it as? And most people are saying, well, split the difference, which is not necessary. If you split the difference, and let's just call it a $100 bill, is right in the middle. I would personally probably go around $109.99, which is underneath the high comp, considerably higher than the low comp. But my caveat to him would be, expect your offer to come in a lot closer to $75 than $109.99.
I'd also be curious what the card is. Is it a player that's hot or not hot? Is it a set that's popular? There are certain caveats. For example,
a lot of variables.
For example, and I'll just use it. Not that it would probably actually affect his card negatively, but Tyreek Hill just got traded today to the Miami Dolphins from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the odds are he's not going to be anywhere as good on the Dolphins as he was with the Chiefs. So you might have to be on the lower end of that. But somebody like who's going to have a chance to start, who got this over-guaranteed contract like Deshaun Watson, he's got a guaranteed contract now for gazillions of dollars. He did not play last year for very good reasons.
Sure.
But, then you might say, I'm going to go higher on that because Watson now has a starting job, at least for now. Baker Mayfield doesn't. You would be lower on Baker Mayfield until he finds a place. So those are just things, that you consider, and I know that sometimes we go back and forth on that, but you have to think about it, what the card set is doing, what the product is doing, what the player is doing. So there are, as you yourself correctly said, there are a lot of variables.
Well, and again, the first question to anybody in a situation like that is, who's the player? Is it serial numbered? Is it a short print, short print, etc.? We can't just talk in the abstract without knowing more about it, because we don't know. There could be a $130 card because you get some guy like me that just has to have it for my McGuire collection, and then somebody that's a little bit more disciplined and like, hey, it's not a $130 card, it's a $75 card. You get a seller that's just looking to offload it. I pulled it out of a pack. $75 sounds good to me, and so it's hard to say, but really the biggest variable is there even a third buyer at the market? We don't know that. And you could list it for $65 and it might never sell.
It depends on the player. We used to say back, I remember way back in the day, maybe 20 years ago when I was still at Beckett, we'd have these dealers on the Beckett Marketplace said, there's only 50 copies. That's 1 for every state, or 100 copies. That's 2 for every state. How can the price be so low? And my answer always was, well, if you have 200 people who want a card that is serial number to 100, you've got great demand and that card's going to go up. If you've got 20 people that want that card printed to 100, it's going to be hard to sell at any price.
It is. It's real. I mean, the hobby is is such an interesting reflection of economics on a micro and macro scale. The dynamics that we see, the fluidity on a daily basis, hourly basis, even, right? You're watching a baseball game and somebody does something like your man Mercedes last year, where he just, goes off and has 12 straight hits or whatever it was to start his career, does something stupid we haven't seen before, and everybody wants one. It's just so interesting. And then we see it play out in real life with the toilet paper 2 years ago, where somebody decided, I'm going to stock up on toilet paper for my bomb shelter. Somebody saw it, and then somebody else saw it, and before you know it, it's spread out across the country where everybody's grabbing that for no reason. I mean,
we bought extra water last weekend because there was a sign in Sam's Club. They were limiting all water purchases. So I bought some extra water. And not that I was panicking, but I want to have extra, water is something that's not going to go bad.
Sure. And
So
perhaps they've got like 18 pallets in the back, and they're like, hey, if we limit, we can create a false demand for this
I
out on
don't
the
think
floor.
so on that.
And Uncle Rich is over there like, hey, Dina, I'm going to go through the check stand once. You go through it. Perhaps, I mean, it does happen, right? I mean, one of the oldest things that we all heard when we were a kid, maybe not all of us on the show tonight, but that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, which was a marketing ploy by cereal companies. They got with the federal government back in the 1940s, and it was a deal.
It may not be the most important meal of the day, but it's actually the meal that you work off your most calories from.
You should, and that's why we're an obese society, without getting too far off topic. But 150 years ago, people had 4,000 calories first thing in the morning, worked all day, had a small meal at lunch, and some soup or something for supper. But they had all the day to work off. So yeah, it is important if we flip the script and eat more in the morning, less at night. But yeah, I mean, that whole breakfast was the most important meal, was a marketing ploy by cereal companies back in the 40s on the radio. And then your parents told it to you, you told it to your kids tell it, before you know it, it's just the way it is.
Right, but I am a big fan of breakfast for that reason, because you do use most of those calories rather than dinner. As you correctly said, we've got our society backwards, where we eat dinner as the biggest meal a lot of the time.
All right, so what's your favorite cereal?
Raisin Bran.
I knew it was going to be a brand something. Was it always Raisin Bran, or is it in the last 10 years?
Yeah, it's been Raisin Bran probably for the last 30 years.
Okay. Fair enough.
So since you wanted to do the normal debate this week, and I'm sorry that I tagged you both in it, 85 or 87?
Oh, you know my answer to that. However, I will say I'm going to defend 87 for a second. Ryan Fagan of the Sporting News does these junk wax or overproduced wax era packs.
Share a story about the player.
He gets so much response to 87 tops. He did a series of 3. Dr. Beckett did 3 shows with him, and the focus was they worked around 87 tops, and then they interviewed them on other subjects too. But 87 tops is a magical set. I liked 85 tops. That was a magical set. In my opinion, yes, McGuire's the 85 rookie, period, end of sentence. However, I understand the logic point of 87. I disagree with it, but I understand the logic. Because what people like our esteemed hosts say is that it's the first card of him really in a major league uniform. Yep. And the 85 is the Olympic uniform. He's not a major leaguer. He doesn't have any team affiliation. It's like a special subset card. It would be like, in my opinion, and I'm going to exaggerate a little. Pete Rose Jr. has an 82 Fleer card, Pete and Repeat, where he's the bat boy for Pete Rose. His dad. Pete Rose Jr.'s rookie card is like 96 or 97 tops when he finally makes the major leagues. 15 years later. But would you consider some people would consider the 82 Fleer a rookie card of Pete Rose Jr.?
Nick Fosbrink does. He brings that up every time this debate hits Twitter. But then you have, when people argue that 85, because it was packed out, and it was part of the actual base set. Now, there were not insert sets like there are today, where we have 12 different insert sets packed into packs. Because by today's standards, the Olympic card would be its own independent checklist of 25 cards. What about 89 All-Star, where we had the AL and the NL teams inserted right smack dab into the middle of 89 tops? It's no different.
Still a subset, still a base card.
But it's still an insert set. It's a subset. That's you just said.
What about
Seth.
the 88 Olympic teams? Those are considered rookie cards by some
60
people.
tops,
They're
sporting
the Olympic
use.
uniforms. I mean, this is what I mean by, even though I agree with the 85 being a rookie, I understand the point of the 87 being a rookie.
So, just because we beat this dead horse,
There is no correct answer. Whichever
Correct.
one you choose is your favorite.
Matt McNeil, the aforementioned, the one that asked about the wave refractor, had a question for you, Rich.
Yeah,
He says-
I honestly, in the 80s, I think these card companies weren't really thinking like that. They were just producing cards. They were making so much money. They didn't care about trying to improve the technology. All they wanted to do was just do their cards. And I think Upper Deck gave them a really swift kick when they came out with the quote 99-cent packs that never were 99 cents in 89. I don't know anybody who ever paid $1 for an 89 Upper Deck pack in 89.
Yeah,
But all of a sudden, the card quality improved, and you noticed all of a sudden, all the next year, the next year, and the next year, and the next year, the production quality of the cards all increased. The closest we got to Chrome was like Topps Tiffany and Fleer Glossy.
Just real quick, Rich. The question for those listening was if Chrome technology was ever talked about in the 80s from any of the major manufacturers.
As I said, I don't think so. I think it had to do with, hey, they're making money hand over foot. Why mess with success?
Maybe the only parallel to having a improved non-cardboard issue, Sportflix.
Well, yeah, but yes, and Sportflix were very popular that first year. They were very well distributed, and they never were as well distributed after 86. But as I said, it took until Upper Deck in 89 to really wake up the card companies.
Or 88, if you want to look at it that way.
Even Topps didn't have any real competition, of course, until Fleer and Donruss came along in 81. They had 25 years of
And even with the competition of the 80s, they were all producing the same product.
They were. It was just a different design and a different, it said Leaf on the back, it said Fleer, it said Topps. You're still going to collect
sometimes the occasional different player.
Yeah, you could catch your favorite player regardless. What was your favorite food issue from the 80s?
My favorite food issue? I will tell you that the most interesting food issue were the Drake sets, because they went from easy to really hard. They were actually fairly easy the first few years, and the last couple of years they became really difficult. I made a lot of money from the T discs in 87, but I never really liked them. But we all made money with them, which was a different subject. There are these discs, and there were variations of them, like Our Own Tea and Weiss, and I don't know what else, but there were all these tea issues. Kellogg's was winding down in the 80s, so Kellogg's wasn't much, and by the end of the decade, the 81s were closed out, and there were tons of 81s out there. In 82 and 83, they had a really bad thing. For the batting averages, they averaged, instead of doing what the career batting average was, they actually averaged, let's say you had a 10-year major league career, they would average 300, 270, 280. And your batting average became the average of those numbers, not your actual batting average.
That's not how you math, guys.
I mean, that was really, yeah. So, I mean, I think if you really have a favorite, it's probably the 84 Nestle set, because that was challenging.
Because it looked like the top space set. It just had
and I mean, my old friends, I don't think they're with us anymore, Gary Sawatsky and Jim Justice from Michigan, and they bought out the supply of the uncut sheets, and they had them professionally cut, and they traded for so much good stuff.
I can imagine.
Oh, I mean, and I knew Gary. Gary's a good guy. Jim was a good guy. They were both very smart. We would buy a lot from them for the Beckett Price Guide when I got there, and Jim bought a lot from them too. Jim bought out their table a couple times way back in the day.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that Nestle existed until a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I came across one, and it was a Ricky Henderson, and I was like, "What is in God's green glory is this card? Why does it say Nestle?" And I was able to get a complete team set for relatively inexpensive, but I had to go chase card 1 or 2, whatever it was, with Ricky Henderson and Tim Raines.
Yeah.
With the team or the stolen base leaders from '83, and shoot, that cost me like $12 at that time because it was the
You know
only
what?
one I
That's
could find.
perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know, I tease you about your collection, but that's perfectly fine. You know, when you don't see a lot of copies of card and you know it's like that, you just buy it sometimes.
Oh, you have to, as a team collector, you have to have it, right? We use that word "have" very loose. We have to have it. And of course, being an A's fan, it's a Ricky Henderson, '84, beautiful design, beautiful card. Tim Raines right there, perhaps the most efficient base stealer of all time in volume. Ricky Henderson, obviously the all-time leader at 1406, I believe. But Tim
If you
Raines,
cut Ricky Henderson's stats in half, you have 2 Hall of Fame players. That's how good he was.
yeah. But what's interesting? I think the number was something stupid too. It's like Ricky Henderson would have to steal 170 bases or 180 bases in a row without getting caught to tie Tim Raines as far as stealing percentage goes.
Right.
Raines was that much more efficient, and it just shows you that basically Ricky Henderson got on first base and he was going. If it gets caught, it gets caught, but he was going. And
speaking of food issues in Ricky Henderson's, you have the Granny Gooses from '81 and '82.
I do. I did not have the '81 for when I was a kid for some reason, which is very, very scarce. I was at a card show one time, and I'm talking to a guy about the old Jose Canseco candy bar, and he had it for a couple of bucks, and I was like, I'm not buying a piece of old chocolate just for it. And I was like, do you have any other A's stuff? And he's like, yeah, I got some old Granny Goose. And I'm like, what are the odds? Sure enough, he had the Ricky Henderson from '81 in there, completed my '81. And as I'm going around the show later, he's like, hey, I'm packing up. Do you want that candy bar? Just take it. I was like, what a cool dude. But yeah, I've got the complete Granny Goose run from '81 to '83, the complete Mother's Cookie from '84 to '98. I'm missing a couple of the Plumbers Union sets.
Those Plumbers Union sets are not that easy.
They're hard. They're very hard. They ran from '99 to '04, and then I am missing the Comcast set from '05. That would complete the entire master run of the stadium.
Steph and I can probably tell you where you can probably get some singles from that set.
I need the whole thing.
Well, just buy some of the singles.
I need the whole
we ship
thing.
well.
Let me ask another obvious question here.
Yes, son.
What? How many ho-ohs and ding-dongs and Twinkies did you eat in the '70s?
Way too many. I bought the boxes because that's how you got the cards. They were on the bottom of the boxes. But if I was really smart, I would have bought the individual packets. The individual Twinkies from like 76, 77. They're tough. 75. They're tougher than the box cards.
We ate more Cookie Crisp and Captain Crunch in '89, getting those dang cards. It had to be a Guinness record. I mean, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'd go to school in my Superman, metal tin lunchbox, and there'd be Captain Crunch in there and a Don Mattingly card. And I'm just like, Dad, stop. You can literally order the whole set for, $15 plus shipping and handling, which is going to come up a little later in the show. That was kind of So let me ask you another question before we get into the show. You're welcome to stay with us as long as
as I said, we agreed it would be about a half hour. So
okay, so I'll let you go after this question.
Okay,
Rob Broder, is he still alive? And where can I find
think
him?
so. They're in Hawaii. Rob Broder is actually Ed Broder. From what I understand, Rob Broder is actually Ed Broder. It was actually they used to say it was his son, but it was actually the older man who did it. But Rob, I believe, is alive because Rob is the son. And I think Rob is alive and living in Hawaii still. I used to get those sightings every couple of years back in the day.
Do you have his number?
And by the way, you're going to laugh when I say this. As I've gotten older, I've also become a big fan of those Broder cards.
They're beautiful.
They're not because they're collectible, but they're never going to be valuable. They don't have any licensing. But they're, as you said, they're beautiful, they're collectible, they're affordable.
And when you find out that he didn't have permission to take those photos, it makes it even better. And I want to talk to him. So if you have his number, text me his number.
I used to have it, but that was 20 years ago.
Rich,
That was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was also single. I had better filing systems in those days. I got married. I threw away a lot of stuff. What can I tell you?
Wait. You have a filing system?
Yes. I had a desk
You want to call
back.
Dina
It had
back in?
so much stuff in it. People would say, wow, you've got stuff. Yeah, the filing system was, here you go. Go dig.
well, thank you so much, Rich.
Thanks for having me. That was a blast.
Come on again. Let's plan a night where you can stay up. We still need to get you and Jim on for like a history of the hobby.
Let's put it this way. I'm happy to do that when the school year ends and Dina doesn't have to get up at 6 a.m. I'm happy to do that. So figure like June or July, we'll figure and we can do like an hour at that point.
It's a date. You tell Steph when you're free, and we'll get you on the schedule.
Well, Steph, yes, I will let Steph work it out with Dr. Jim. Because if he says yes, then I'll make sure I'm available.
That's a weekend show. I'd love to have you guys for like a 90-minute, 2 hour, and just let you go. We'll start in the old.
We'll
Ginter.
Do that too.
We'll do the old.
I'm
Ginter
fine with that.
1800s and work our way all the way up to current.
I'm fine with that. You work it out, and I'm good to go. Okay.
Somewhere I have notes on what I'd love to talk to you guys about, and it's just kind of we'll guide it along, and you guys can talk for 2 hours.
That sounds like a plan. All right, kids. Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Much love, my friend. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, Rich.
You literally could let that man talk for like days, and I'm not exaggerating. What a gift to the hobby. I mean, he really is a special person, and really appreciate him hopping on with us the last minute. We did reach out kind of half joking earlier, just once we had some scheduling issues with Andrew and Kyle, and he's like, I can't do it. I stayed up late last night, and then look at that, surprises us with 30 minutes. So what a fantastic guy. Can't wait to talk to him again. He's always, it's like, hey, whatever happened to Rob Berger? Yeah, I used to have his telephone number. Seriously? I mean, I don't think there's any topic that we could throw his way that he wouldn't be able to speak with a degree of expertise, whether he wants to be humble about that or not. I mean, that man is absolutely a living hobby legend.
Maybe current stuff, but definitely not anything from before, say, 1990. Good luck.
Yeah,
and
seriously,
his filing system there's papers all over his desk, and it's there somewhere.
That man is such a neat individual. I mean, he is so special. I love him so much. Unless you have any mail days, Steph, we can just kind of skip over that section. I don't have anything myself really to speak of. I'm so disorganized. Haven't cataloged anything in quite some time. I got so much to do with cards.
Sir, please. I do have a quick update from the last show, if that will surmise.
Sure.
Getting that loaded here. Regarding last night's show, Giannis is from Greece. For other countries, Thanksgiving has no meaning, which makes sense why he might have been free to be looking for the Leaf signatures, as it were.
But it's an American holiday, and he is in America, and I'm not trying to, basically, it's Thanksgiving Day, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, they're using my name and likeness inappropriately. Sure. Your lawyer still presumably is celebrating Thanksgiving. I mean, the court system is not open. I mean, it's not. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't celebrate Thanksgiving. And if his,
sure.
his being from
background.
Greece, his background, I was looking for the appropriate word. But still, being here in the United States, we do, and our court system, it'd be difficult to file that. It's just like, he's got to be aware that it's Thanksgiving Day, and maybe I can wait till Monday. Just interesting timing was all, but yeah, being from Greece, that does explain that.
And then as well, I think I made an off comment about what do you even do with these. Apparently, Ultra Pro does make a 6 pocket pages for the bookmark and or Kala collection from '93. That would fit in the Ultra Pro page.
Interesting. I did pick these up this week. These are the box toppers. I'm sure a lot of people have seen these from Heritage. These are
Sure.
the two Oakland A's. They're uh, mid-sized. That's next to the 5x7. So they're mid-sized. They're very nice. I that stuff's growing on me as a card collector. You know, obviously any of us that collected back in the '80s had the jumbo, super jumbo crap, whatever it was called. As long as they don't bring back those puffy,
Supers.
yeah, what were the puffy ones that had like the faces that were like 3D? Maybe that's what they were. It, those were terrible. They were cool as a kid, but how do you store them?
In a box by themselves.
Basically, right? You can't do anything with them, and then you can't put anything on them, and yeah. It's a good idea conceptually and neat as a kid when you're like 8 and go, whoa, this is cool. Dale Murphy's coming out at me. But now as an adult, it's like, what do I do with these?
I did also get in the mail the last 75 cards needed to have the full-on script artist signature for the Call Time Arts series. I finally ponied up and used my store credit and got 75 in the mail. So just when I thought I was done with Magic, a set comes along. Next, later this year, apparently they're doing a run based on Baldur's Gate, which was a pretty fun RPG game in the early 2000s. I think there's a current rendition coming up.
Interesting.
But it's nice to see Wizards of the Coast using some of their other licenses, in this case, D&D or D&D inspired games.
Yeah, very cool. There's a lot of non-sports stuff, by the way, coming out. If you're into non-sports, not just non-sports, but like the gaming stuff, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that stuff is all quite a bit on the release calendar over the last 30 days and upcoming weeks, which I'm sure most people that collect that stuff are well aware of. But that stuff is still hot and heavy, despite the sports calendar being a little light and getting pushed around a lot. So the week that was last week's releases: Topps Living 501 Brandon Marsh rookie card, outfielder for the Angels, and 502 Jose Barrios pitcher for the Blue Jays.
Not the Twins.
Yeah, 2021 Panini Limited Football came out on the 16th, as did 2022 Bowman Baseball First Edition. I think it's actually starting to like street now. I believe. I think I saw somebody that tweeted earlier about it's actually starting to hit eBay. Maybe it already has. I don't know. First edition. Most people don't care anymore about that crap.
In addition, I noticed that I was able to actually find Series 1 hockey in the wild. So if you guys are looking for retail hockey, it seems to be available.
Yeah, I had a get together with some old high school friends over the weekend. This past weekend, I happened to be near a Target, and I had a gift card for $25. So I went in there just to see if there was anything cool, figuring maybe I'll go out with some black dress socks, in with the new, out with the old, and ended up looking over at the card section just out of curiosity to see how much it was stocked. A lot of Series 1 baseball, but there was probably 20 Series 1 hockey blasters there, and then whatever the next size up, it's like $40.
So you're saying there are like 20 of these, and how many of these?
Yeah, there were probably a half a dozen of the bigger ones that were like $40 each, I believe.
Yep.
And then the $20 blasters, there's probably 2 dozen, maybe. I mean, it was stock shelf. I thought about buying one, just to open up to see what, luck of the draw, see what young guns came out of it, see the product in hand, and then I decided to buy socks because I was being more practical, being boring old person. Like, I need
socks.
I did. It's been a couple of years, and I wear them to work. And so, anyway, yeah, I could have had some hockey cards, but it was nice to see a lot of stuff on the shelves. And I think the blasters just recently came out, so it's probably fairly new to the shelf, I believe. So,
and nice. I would expect tins probably with the next 2, hopefully not 3 weeks.
Yeah, good stuff. Hot off the presses, new releases this week. We had Topps Living 211, 503 Josiah Gray, pitcher for the Nationals. That is a rookie card with the rookie card logo. And then 504, Rockies legend, Dale Murphy, outfielder for. They put him on the Braves for some reason. I was thinking Phillies or Rockies, but
Herman, if you want me to kick him, just let me know.
yeah, he was one of the first to give me a hard time when I suggested that maybe Freddie Freeman would win a World Series with the Dodgers and go into the Hall as a Dodger. But gorgeous card. The Josiah Gray was done by Jared Kelly, who's coming on in a few weeks, and then Sato did the Dale Murphy. Good looking card. I definitely had to pick up a Murphy myself. Dale Murphy was great. Hall of Famer. Let's get him in. It's time. Topps Living Star Wars available through next Tuesday. Card 293 Kel, Star Wars Resistance, and 294 Jack Laquan, Star Wars The Clone Wars. I probably butchered that name. They're both cartoon renditions. Kind of an interesting week. Kel definitely has a Disney feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
With the big doe eyes and the overly done hair. Looks like a Disney card. Kind of an interesting week. I don't know where they're at in the canon and how popular these characters are, but not really exciting if you're just more of a casual Star Wars fan. And then Topps Throwback Thursday available through tomorrow morning. This is the third set, set number 11. 72-73 basketball design. So tomorrow's release will be the fourth and final. Card 31, Joe Adele. 32, Yordan Alvarez with the short print. And card 33, Austin Riley. I'm assuming now we're done with the let's have a veteran every week. I think this is the second week in a row that they haven't done a retired player.
It's a nice card of Adele.
It's the same picture they've been using on like 3 years worth of cards for that guy, though.
I don't pay attention.
No, I only know it because you see enough of that crap, And then the major releases, really nothing this week. Really nothing at all. The only semi-major release would be 2022 Panini Prism UFC, which drops on Friday. So if you're a UFC fan, go check that one out. Assuming it holds, who knows? I mean, at this point, the release calendar is kind of all over the place. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, all release dates are subject to change. We are seeing a lot of those at the moment. These ones were current as of about 9 a.m. Pacific this morning. MSRP pricing would have been gathered at Blowout had there been anything. You can check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news. If any of this stuff interests you this week. Brewing next week is not a big week either. We have 2020 and 2021 Upper Deck Premier Hockey coming out on Wednesday, and then on Friday, 2021 Panini Clearly Donruss Football, which is a mouthful. Why are we seeing 20/21 Upper Deck Hockey being released in 22?
Seems odd. There's always been some staggered releases, but usually not this far gone. But you got to assume that it's due to everything else being backed up. I mean, Series 1 just got released, and it's usually a October, November release. So,
yeah, I imagine it's got to be just a release calendar thing. But we've seen, we kind of joked at the top of the show as well about Big League Baseball from 2021, which should have been released right around this time. So it's about a year late. And then Chrome Platinum, which was released, I think, supposed to be in November or December, and got pushed back, and it's still, missing in action. At what point?
Chrome Platinum or Chrome Update Platinum?
Didn't
one of them get announced today?
I don't know that it. No, there's a Sapphire that got announced.
Oh, Sapphire. Okay.
Yeah, just the regular Chrome Platinum. I think it was supposed to come out late in the calendar, Q4 last year, and it got pushed back into January, and it's still TBD. And it's like, at what point does Upper Deck just say, "Hey, sorry, this one's got to go"? It's just not being released. I know they've canceled some other releases. White Tops hasn't announced Big League and Chrome Platinum from 21 and just said, "Stop, we're done." They got skipped due to supply chain issues and other things out of our control. It's unfortunate for collectors, but at the same time, let's not just keep delaying it. I don't want to be talking about, episode 300 of About the Cards coming at you in 2024, still waiting on 2021 Big League Baseball. It's like, at what point do you just, hey.
Where are the wood minis?
Those are the things that we're not supposed to mention on the show. They're done. That's it. That's the week that was. So let's or this week. Infill chatter, hobby talk. This is kind of interesting. Major shakeup in the world of collecting via Chris Carlin at Pete Incavelia on Twitter. He has announced that he is leaving Upper Deck after 24 years of being with them and moving up in the ranks. He accepted a position as Director of Customer Care with Collectors Universe. If you're not familiar with Collectors Universe, they are owned by Nat Turner, and he has companies that include Golden Auctions, Card Ladder, Wada Games, and Genament, just to name a few. So this is the second major announcement over the past couple of months that we've seen, with the first being Tracy Hackler leaving Panini for Jimmy's Roadshow. What are your thoughts, Steph?
To help play a role in the leadership at Collectors is an incredible opportunity I will dedicate myself to. Their family of brands are the gold standard in #the hobby. My job will be to make sure the level of care customers receives is as premium as the services they provide. PSA gets a good one. I know that what Chris brings to, or brought, I suppose, to the team at Upper Deck was immense and cannot be understated. And I look forward to see PSA maybe improve and polish up their services.
Yeah, no, and obviously Susan Lugerai is also part of that family working for Golden Auctions.
Yep.
And she was really excited. He said he's always been wanting an opportunity to work with her. She's moved around a little bit in the hobby, formerly of Beckett and Topps, and now with Golden, maybe they'll have an opportunity to collaborate. So good for him. Very excited for new opportunities on the horizon. At the same time, sad to see him leave Upper Deck, as I'm sure was probably not an easy decision on his part. He's been with them so long and such a great ambassador for their brand.
No, I mean, even working for a company for a year or two, unless it's just absolutely just making your paycheck. Once you get that job that you like, it's hard to turn and move to something else.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was not easy any more than it was probably easy for Tracy before him and whoever's coming next down the pipeline. Always difficult to leave a job, especially when you've been there for 2.5 decades. But the good news is he's still in the hobby.
Indeed.
So that's always we're not losing him. He's just wearing a different T-shirt. So good, a big hire, big signing, big trade acquisition for Collector Universe. So yeah, got to be an exciting opportunity for him. So we wish Chris the best. We wish Upper Deck the best for whomever they get to replace him. Whoever it is, good luck, because you're going to need it, because those are big shoes to fill. So excited to see, and maybe Upper Deck would be happy to have. We would love to extend an offer if they're listening. Whoever does replace Chris is welcome to come on the show, introduce themselves to the hobby. If it's an internal promotion or an external one, we'd love to have them on and get their story, their background in the hobby, and see what kind of vision they have moving forward as they take the reins from Chris. So.
Definitely.
Good to see him stay in the hobby. That's the key. He's not leaving us. He's just moving to a different department. So let's hope this story has a happy ending. This one sucks. Via Dynasty CLE. So Dynasty Cleveland is basically what it is. This story came via Facebook, and Dynasty Cle brought it to Twitter. A young collector named Elijah was at spring training in Sarasota, Florida, when he lost his binder full of in-person autographs. He was there to add more to his collection when his binder was misplaced. Reading through the thread, it still looks as if the binder is MIA. I put these in the show notes on March 22nd. So as of that's when I still believe that Elijah had not yet found his binder. The handle that shared the story reached out to his mom, Elijah's mom, who was hesitant to give out their address for collectors who obviously, card collectors unite in this kind of thing. Hey, we'll send them stuff from our desks. She was a little hesitant to give the address, so he also was reaching out to see if there's a local business that might be willing to give their address. for the hobby to start sending things to repopulate Elijah's collection. But again, she holds out hope that he can find his. Is there an update on that?
There is. So quick shot here is Elijah with, it looks like archives, some early Bowman. I think that's the tops in the corner. Insert wearing a judge uni, standing around the player entrances. And then essentially just what Ben had surmised, but from his mother, father, and the kid himself. Posting that spoken to his mother, a little uncomfortable, people wanting to give things because the intent was just to find the binder, is also understandably hesitant to give out their address. Maybe a local business can accept mail on their behalf. The goal was just to get him his binder back. However, massive update of collaborating with his mother, and I think she's a sports reporter for the local news, SNN New York. Proud to say that if anyone feels led to send him anything from your own collection, you can send it to attention Elijah Cards, 2040 6th Street, Sarasota, Florida 34237. And there's an article that describes it that I will post in the description down below. Going to paste it down into chat here real quick, and it should go out with the podcast as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. We love seeing. We've been blessed. Steph and I and Shep were blessed with an opportunity to help other young collectors in the past on our show, using this as a platform to help newer young collectors get new items for their PC. And let's hope that no matter what anybody sends him, he gets his cards back. They belong in. They're his. So if you are in the Sarasota, Florida area and can offer any local assistance and hopefully tracking this down, it'd be really nice if somebody can just go to the police station and drop it off, saying, "Hey, I found this," even if you picked it up and had the intent of keeping it. So let's hope that the hobby can come together and find this. And if not, if you're in the giving mood and want to donate, we provided the address. He appears to be a big Yankees fan, so if you've got some Yankee stuff laying around, whether it
Who
be
doesn't?
base or more, the garbage pile.
Thanks, Doc.
Let's help this young collector get some stuff. So we're hoping that at some point in the near future we might be able to do a positive update. So this one came across. Fraud or legit is the question. This came via Budget Cards. The tweet says that he sold a card on eBay to a user with a 0 feedback. He Googled the address, and the address that Google came back with turns out to be delivered to a bakery in Illinois to a man who's around 98 years old. Budget Cards tagged card purchaser asking if he, as the seller, was covered. If this does turn out to be fraud, a lot of people sided with the buyer in this thread saying, "Come on, he paid for it. What are you doing Googling this just because he has 0 feedback?" Is there cause for concern if you're the seller, Steph, or is this an overreaction?
So this is where having a unique enough last name comes unfortunate to you, because the more unique data that you throw at Google or wherever, the easier it is to find information like this. If I have a username and someone's name, I can probably find their social media account if they have one and it's active. In this case, I would hope that one, he goes through with the sale. eBay is supposed to be able to cover fraudulent purchases like this, and I would just hope that maybe it's a family-owned bakery and the grandson is having cards delivered there. Maybe the girlfriend, wife doesn't like it delivered to the house. Maybe he's got all sorts of shady, less than shady reasons someone could want that sent to their place of work, or maybe they're collecting with their father who also happens to work there. You never know.
Yeah, no, all good points. And I think a lot of those points were also shared in the thread. If you read through it, a lot of points are like, "Hey, you paid for it. Send the person their card." Just because it's a bakery in a random city in Illinois, and whatever. A lot of people send. I mean, my boss gets stuff sent all the time. I'm pretty sure he had a pair of shoes delivered today, right? It's like, hey, But if he's not home and there's theft in the neighborhood, I'd rather have
Sure.
that pair of shoes delivered. And I think he had a shirt the other day. It's like, okay, so if he's having his personal stuff delivered to work, and they've extended that to us too. If I want to have my baseball cards delivered to work, they'd be more than happy to let me use the work address, because then we can receive it there during the day, and I don't have to have it on my doorstep. I mean,
Sure.
a lot of people
While you're
use
not
that.
there, I get it.
Yeah. I would definitely follow through with this particular one, but I think there is cause for concern. And reaching out on Twitter for, opinions is not the worst thing. Hey, what would you do if this were you?
There are
In my
far
case,
worse questions to get asked to card purchaser.
that I get that that's his shtick, and that's he has a Patreon and Discord, and that's where he makes his money. But some of the stuff that dude gets tagged in, it's just, I mean, he set himself up for it, right? So he's a volunteer,
Sure.
not a victim. But I see some of the stuff that he gets tagged in. It's like, seriously.
I mean, I would agree that there's cause for concern, but if the person paid, rely on the systems and standards that are in place and follow through as a seller.
That's all you can do, and deal with it on the back end. I mean, yeah, it's cause for to raise an eyebrow. It's definitely an orange flag. Rich Frank says, nope, it sounds super scammy. It does. But again, we don't have the whole story. All we have is what Budget Cards put on Twitter. And, that's all he put on. So that's the only information we have. Does it sound bad? Sure, but we don't have the whole story. So always seller beware, just like buyer beware. But, follow through. Follow through with the sale he paid. And if there's a problem on the back end, then get eBay involved and let him know, hey, Mr. Seller, I didn't do anything wrong. Posted it, sold, got paid for, I shipped it. That's for them to step in and right up on their bottom line. I'm not eating it. So the next couple of topics are going to show some of the same things. I even saw another one today on Facebook where we as buyers have to deal with from shady sellers. Flip of the coin now. Let's look at the other side. On eBay and presumably other marketplaces, and it's not just isolated to eBay, but they are the market leaders. So the first one comes via Ryan Cracknell at Trader Cracks. The second one comes via me. Ryan, who lives in Canada, he paid $10 to ship a $100 card from the U.S. It came in a PWE, which costs around $2 to cross over the border. So Ryan felt asking for a $7 refund was fair. The seller said, quote, they build a war chest in case something goes missing and they are out of pocket. Ryan continues his thoughts in the thread saying that he wouldn't be doing business with them again. And then, quote, for U.S. sellers in Canada, we're used to paying more for shipping, but be upfront about cost and we'll decide. Overcharging is going to lead to some unhappy customers, end quote. Before we get into the topic, I want to run through mine real quick because it's basically a very similar scenario. I had bought this card. I was looking to complete the rainbow for gold label. This is the blue out of 50, class 3. I already had the complete run of the base, the black, the purple, and the red. I had 2 of the 3 blues. This was the only one I needed. The seller had it listed for $39.99, which is, at auction. In my estimation, in my experience buying, I would assume it's a $10 to $12 card. He had it for $40, but I've only seen 2 of these things populate out of the 50. So, you take that for what that is. So the seller gave me a seller offer of $25 because I had it in my watch list. So he's come down $15. I countered with 12. There was $5 shipping on it. So that makes 17 plus tax to me, or 29 plus taxes where he had offered. 30 plus tax. The seller countered with 20. I countered back a second time with $12, basically letting him know, hey, I sent him a little note saying, hey, I appreciate the counter offer. Appreciate the offer, you coming down off your price, but where I need to be on this particular card would be $12. If you decline, completely understand. But this is where I have to be. It's a standing offer until, either you sell it to somebody else or I acquire one from another seller. And he accepted. He didn't have to, but he chose to accept. So I'm now on the hook for $12 plus $5 to ship plus 99 shipping. So the landed cost to me is $17.99. The card arrives a couple of days later in a PWE with a 55-cent stamp. So I go on there and politely ask them, hey, can you refund me $4? You overcharged me on shipping, and dude completely lost it. He basically said that, hey, look, I came down off of my price. I gave you a deal, so I'm going to profit off of your shipping. And I'm like, that's not quite how it works. And I try to explain, as I tend to do very politely. This time, I mean, on eBay, I always try to, and I was like, hey, listen, I understand what you're saying, but you don't backload profits. I said, if you send it in a bubble mailer with tracking, hey, I'm leaving positive feedback and moving on. I said, but come on, dude. And he came back and started calling me names. So I come back and say, listen, man, I got a podcast. I'll be more than happy to throw your name out there. I'll throw it on Twitter and other scammers groups on Facebook. I said, don't be that guy. Just, hey, cut me $3. Keep 2, cut me 3, and let's go our separate ways. And he's like, I'm not cutting you anything. You're trying to scam me out of my money. And I'm like, it's not your money. It's the post office's money. I gave you $5. And just like Ryan said, I gave you $10 and you only used 2 of it. A guy on Facebook said he was charged $4.70 and got a PWE and a stamp, with a stamp as well. So, he's out $4. And, basically he comes to me, he's like, dude, I'm a distributor and I'll get you blacklisted with Topps. And then he comes back to me like 4 minutes later and said, you'll never be able to buy anything from Topps. I made a phone call and you're blacklisted. And I'm like, whoa, dude. That's the most impressive part of this story, that you were able to get a hold of anybody at Topps, let alone in 4 minutes. That's cool. Newsflash, I bought something from Topps today. Didn't get blacklisted, unfortunately. Joke's on him. So, all joking aside, I reached out to eBay, asked for a $4 refund. Ryan shared in his thread eBay's terms and conditions when it comes to sellers overcharging for shipping. Steph, can you pull up that tweet?
I got it here somewhere.
I was not familiar that this was part of their terms and conditions until I saw it on Ryan's thread. I was like, oh, because when I called him, I just basically outlined it. I'm like, I'm not asking for my money back. I'm not asking to return it. I'm not asking, it has nothing to do with whether the card arrived. I'm just saying, listen, I paid $5 shipping. He should have used as much of that as possible. A little bit, 10, 20%. Okay, not a big deal. If he had paid $4 to, okay, I'm not going to cry over that, right? As long as it came in a bubble mailer with tracking, I would not have cared. But that's the basic premise. So what is the
It's actually against eBay terms of service to gouge on shipping prices. If I'm being charged $10 for shipping, if the actual shipping cost is $2-ish, I'm going to interpret that as gouging, and I quote, as it loads, only including shipping charges that are actually incurred by the seller and are related to the cost of the shipping and handling the items being delivered. Actual cost paid to the shipping service, handling cost, including the cost of packaging materials and insurance. The actual cost of delivery, confirmation, or extra services such as certificate of mailing, certified mail, collect delivery, delivery confirmation, registered mail, restricted delivery, return receipt, signature confirmation, special handling, or similar services are supposed to be charged.
So I would have been, again, we went back and forth on the negotiation a little bit in my case, and he accepted my counter, which was exactly the same as my first counter. He didn't have to. He could have declined it. He could have countered back, splitting the, whatever. Had he come back to me and said, hey, look, I'll take your $12 as an offer, but I'm going to ship this PWE. I'm still going to charge you $5. So instead of 12 plus 5 plus tax, it's going to be 16 plus 1 plus tax. And the card's coming in a PWE using the ESE program. I'd have been like, hey, you know what? Don't care. $17.99 is fair to me. That's what I'm willing to pay for this particular card. So if you want to do 16 plus 1, I'm good with that. But he never communicated that. And then once I posted all of this on Twitter, and I did name his name, and somebody's like, hey, I looked through his feedback, which I had not done myself. And he had more negative feedback about the same thing, with people complaining about him charging for the bubble mailer and shipping with the PWE and he had one that the card never arrived at all and no communication. So, again, he only had like 82 feedback. So to have 3 negatives and a neutral with that few sales, uh, it's like, come on, dude. You're, and his name was Batflip_breaks. So he's presumably a breaker. And it's like, with all the breakers out there and all the bad names that they're giving the industry as a whole, or that niche, um, I don't think anybody's out of line asking for a refund against being overcharged shipping. And it does bring up my dad and I actually had a long, lengthy conversation, Steph, about this in the car the other day, about the ethics of at what point as a seller do you refund shipping if, let's hypothetically say you buy something from me, Steph, and it's $12.99 shipping. And when I'm saying $12.99 based on the weight and the dimensions. I don't know what it's actually going to cost. Is it west or east of the Mississippi? And you buy it from me, and when I actually plug in everything to actually print shipping,
West of the Mississippi.
What did I say?
It's just adding that I'm west of the Mississippi.
Yeah. Okay. So let's hypothetically, yeah. So you're west, so it's gonna, being in California, it's gonna cost me less to ship it to you than it would to ship somebody on the East Coast. So I'm charging $12.99 because the item weighs a couple of pounds and it's coming priority. But when I go to actually print shipping, it's only $9.45. Okay. Do I refund you the $2? Say, hey, I charged you a little bit more because I didn't know, and because of once I plugged in your specific information, it came out a little bit cheaper. At what point is it okay to keep that amount of money?
And your answer was?
No, I'm asking you. What's the what do you think? Do you think as a seller, obviously if it's $12.99 and it's costing me $12.15, I'm not going to give you the 84 cents back, right? There's that plus or minus for supply. Nobody,
within a dollar or two.
Yeah, buyer wouldn't expect it either, right? My dad has a situation where a buyer bought 4 separate items from him, each of which had $4.99 shipping, right? He bought, paid. So he combined $20. Okay. My dad goes to print all this and he realizes, hey, this is the same buyer. And so now he's going to have to combine these 4 items. And so roughly the shipping was going to be about $5 or $6 or whatever it was, right? It was a little bit more than the one cost of $4.99. So it's like $6. So he ends up giving $14 back and said, hey, you bought all of these individually. They're all coming from me. I don't know if you knew that. I'm just going to keep what it's going to actually cost me to send it to you. And then I'm going to refund you the difference. Great. But if it was 10% higher, 15% higher, a lot of it's, marginal, and a lot of it's, gray. But, charging somebody $5 and using a 55-cent stamp is not cool, especially in this industry, which we know what $5 shipping, or in Ryan's case, $10 shipping means.
Well, like I said, within a dollar or two. Gas, getting it to the place, packaging it up. And I think, honestly, as long as you communicate it ahead of time, hey, this is about what the cost is going to be. If you're up or down a little bit, so be it.
Yeah, and it happens. I sold an item earlier today and joked on Twitter. I had $10.99 shipping on it, and it ended up costing me $12.66. So I had to eat a little bit of it because I undershot the shipping. And I joked like, hey, I'm going to send this in a PWE and profit off of it. The joke being, it's a 2-pound item and big ceramic piece. It's not going to fit in a PWE, of course. But
no.
Yeah, Tom makes the comment about, if he's depending on shipping profits, he's in trouble. Your shipping costs are a hard cost to whatever third party, you send it through. UPS, FedEx, the post office. It should be as close as you can get to that within reason. Nobody's expecting you to give a refund of 12 cents if you undershot at 12 cents. But if you're charging $15 shipping and it's costing you $8 priority, $9 priority, probably want to reach out and say, hey, look, $14.99 was estimated. It didn't come anywhere near that. I'm going to go ahead and shoot you back $4. And guess what? I mean, that's karma for one. And you're going to have a buyer for life. That's going to be somebody that's going to want to do business with you again. I literally told this guy, I was like, dude, don't ruin your reputation as a seller over a $3 refund.
And really, as Mark Wilkins adds, who's going to screw over Ryan Cracknell?
He probably didn't know who it is. And that's probably all we need to know about that guy as a seller.
To wit, apparently he's going to be in town here this week. May hook up, do something. I don't know. We'll see.
Nice.
Let you guys know if anything fun happens. Maybe we do a break live. I don't know.
Awesome. So we had a couple of lawsuits that Paul Lesko came out. The first one is funny to me. Wheeler versus Topps. This one per Paul was written by a hobby noob, since they used the Jordan rookie card and its appreciation value to illustrate their points, but never mentioned what Jordan rookie card they're referring to, nor where they obtained the market worth data from.
Well, it's not like it's the McGuire. If someone says Jordan rookie, they're not talking about the sticker.
But if you're going to file a lawsuit,
they're not talking about Star.
We don't, but you know that, I know that. We're not talking about, does the judge know? I mean, you want to talk about specifics. You're trying to win a case, right?
If someone says Michael Jordan rookie, I'm sure the judge knows, okay, that actually means something.
So Section 2 states the, quote, redemption cards lead to increased demand.
No.
Wheeler states that redemptions are wild cards inserted into packs. It's a random specialty card. The value can range from $1 to $50,000. Not 50,001. Sorry, 50,000. That's the cap on redemptions. All redemptions ever. The only, specifically, that word is key. The only way you can obtain one of these, being redemptions, what are they called again? Redemptions? Okay. Is to purchase the product. No mention of the secondary marketplaces. In other words, this is the only place you can get one, is buying this. Then they double down and refer to redemptions as contests. Therefore, this is basically a no purchase necessary, or NPN lawsuit. The lawsuit goes on to focus on the NPN, which Topps does state on their packs. This lawsuit, in my opinion, will be quickly dismissed since it has no merit. Wheeler has no idea what he or she is even talking about. I mean, it's not...
Well, so more so than even the Jordan bit, one of their arguments in here, redemption card, wild card within the pack. Package highlights redemption cards to induce purchasing. Redemption cards tout their special nature, rarity, value, possibility that it will be autographed by the athlete or entertainer. Redemption cards range from $1 to 50,000 or more. Redemption cards are promoted across all types cards. Defendant sells, including baseball, wrestling, automotive, and sports card. Automotive?
Yeah, I saw that.
Racing. However, are the only way to obtain these value items is through purchasing the product.
The only way.
I do believe somewhere here they stated that as such, these redemption cards are actually wanted and bought. The products are bought to actually get the redemption cards. Ain't nobody buy a box to get a redemption card. I'm sorry.
So there was there was a Facebook thread I got into an argument with the guy who posted it, because I think he just read the headline and not the actual lawsuit. And his thought was, yeah, Topps and Panini, boo, let's get them, nail them for redemptions. This is not a redemption case, and whether or not redemptions are valid. That was the Brashear versus Panini case, which was dismissed without prejudice and brought again and refiled at a later date. This has nothing to do with redemptions. This is a no purchase necessary case completely. They refer to them as random specialty cards, which they're not. They're substitutes. We all know that. I don't think anybody who listens to the show doesn't know what a redemption card is. But that's
Panini points.
Yeah, that's the counter argument, right? It's not a random specialty card. It's a substitute. We had to go to press on the first of the month, and we couldn't get, Dave Smith to sign this card. So we're going to stick this card in there, and we're going to get worked with Dave to get this signed, and you'll pull it. Scratch
Are
it.
they though?
Well, that's the Brashear versus Panini case now. And that's where, not to confuse the two lawsuits. This one is getting things wrong. The value is arbitrary. The only way you can obtain them, wrong. You can get them on the secondary market. You can get them plenty of different ways.
Well, from Tops anyway, and I found that section. In requiring purchase of the product and rendering it difficult to impossible for non-purchasers to obtain the redemption cards, consumers are misled to purchase items they otherwise would not have to at higher prices.
If I'm the defense lawyer, I'm going to sit there and file my nails and go see eBay / or .com.
Or point out the fact that usually the card producers do produce this NPN address, which was, I think, one of the other portions of the complaint was that you have to actually make the purchase of the product to get the NPN address to send something off to. One, I'm pretty sure it's posted. If not on socials, it's posted on the manufacturer's website. Two, you can take a photo of the product while you're at the store. You don't have to leave with the product to have the address. Okay, maybe we're talking someone that's slightly older. However, usually you can make a call and ask, hey, what's your NPN address? Or do you guys have an NPN service?
Right.
Or
Google
someone may just post a picture of a pack saying, hey, random pack break, and boom, there you go. There's the address or the servicing legalese.
But it's not a contest. It's not an entry. It's not like the old 80s stuff where it's like, hey, here's your insert and your 88 tops, send off to get a free trip to the All-Star game, win a trip to the Super Bowl, no purchase necessary. But the only way to get it is to buy a pack of Tops cards pre-internet. It's not like that. It's a redemption card. It's just a substitute auto. If they'd got the auto before it went to pack, they would have been a live auto. No redemptions necessary. Again, see Brashear versus Panini if you want to see that. This case is hilarious. I hope Wheeler's on Twitter because I want to have some fun tomorrow. It'll be dismissed. Perhaps with prejudice. They might just look at this and go, stop. This lawsuit's frivolous, which I know Paul loves that word. But there is another frivolous lawsuit. Again, from Paul, of course, in the matter of the people versus Fanatics. The lawsuit basically says that Fanatics offers free shipping, but when you get to the last step, before you hit click to buy, they add a $1.99 handling fee. Therefore, it's false advertising, and I'm suing. Screw that. It said free shipping, and now they want to charge handling. It is a lady, according to Paul's thread. So when I say a lady, it apparently has been confirmed that it is a woman who filed the lawsuit.
The plaintiff, sure.
The plaintiff. The lady that brought the lawsuit would like this to become a class action lawsuit, but Fanatics Terms and Services says, womp womp, that it has to go to arbitration. No class action can be available. And unfortunately, because it's going to arbitration, it's going to be under lock and key. We won't know the results of this lawsuit. My opinion is she'll most likely lose. Shipping is a hard cost to your third-party mailing service. Handling is when Dave goes and puts down his sandwich and coffee and goes and picks it off the shelf, prepares it for shipping before he hands it over to the post office. That's handling. And so it is two separate charges. The reason we see shipping and handling as one is because we all watched TV in the 1980s where it said, order this product. And shipping and handling is $7.95. It's always been lumped together, but they are two separate charges. One is shipping, third-party cost. Handling, it's an internal cost. And second off, if it says free shipping on all products, let's just say it's a hat for $20. The shipping's free. Fanatics is eating the cost to the post office or UPS or FedEx. But that handling fee at the end is $1.99, and it's being tacked on the back end along with tax. And you, Mr. Consumer, Mrs. Consumer, have every right to choose to hit that X in the upper corner. I'm not buying from Fanatics. I'm not paying a handling fee. And go to another retailer who you'd like to do your business with. I don't see this case having any merit whatsoever, but unfortunately, we're never going to know. So, okay.
So new marketplaces opening up, kind of, sort of, maybe, to keep an eye on from SCD. Sharing my screen here. TCG Player is opening up their services to sports cards. For those unaware, TCG Player has a huge marketplace where they allow shops, and I believe they themselves have cards for different trading card games such as Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, several others, where stores can list their cards online and sell to either individuals or have people come to in store to pick up. Now, I don't know necessarily that it's advised in the previous 2 years for some reason, but they're opening this up now to sports cards. Details just that they're planning to attract some of the market share. The fees ranging from, I do believe they stayed 8.9 to 10.25% of the sale. Interesting. TCG does have a ton of money, a lot of power behind them in their industry. I'd like to see what they bring to the sports cards industry.
So, per the notes, it's for collectible gaming, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Trading
That's
card game,
basically
sure.
their big thing, right? Essentially, I mean, my after reading through it all and doing a little research on it, it looks like they're going to try to come after ComC's and now eBay's vault. Is that not the market share they're going to attempt to come after? Or am I mistaken?
They can try to.
No, I mean, you know, they're aiming at, like, we see what ComC's doing, we see what eBay's trying to do with the vault that's coming out soon. We want a part of that market share, right? What Starstock had.
It
Is
seems
that
to be.
is that not what this? Because again,
Sorry about that.
I'm not familiar with the TCG Player, so I had to do a little research myself. This is the first time I was being familiarized with it myself, so I'm a little naive. That's why I'm asking. That's where they're targeting, right? They're going to try to get people to use their platform instead of buying and selling through ComC.
Correct. Or
eBay Vault.
Sport Lots or any other service. The cool thing for TCG Player, for example, here, I have a Magic card that I'm pulling out later. Okay, start my cam. See, boop, nothing special. It's part of my cat collection. It's a Cat Warrior from 1995? 95. Nothing special, right? On my phone, I can hold it up, and in this case, here's a previous result. It would actually pull up the card and what the current prices are at different price ranges, and you can even list it for sale there, or find a shop that has it, or try to trade for one.
So essentially, is that like Google Lens? Just
Yeah,
specified
same effect.
for. Okay, I use Google Lens a lot.
Matter of fact, there it goes.
Trying
Cat
to figure out.
Warrior, classic 6th edition common as well. It gives you a price range, item details, as far as what the actual card does. And some similar cards for people that buy this, they also buy. And that's a match.
Gotcha. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see when that rolls out. Be interesting to see what kind of market share it pulls away from. You know, or if it's a shared market share, it's not really a one-off, but it's something that can kind of coincide. Interesting. So stay tuned. Steph, you're going to have to explain this next one to me since you posted it. I tweeted it out just basically to get the picture for us to be able to easily share.
Sure.
Panini's going to Panini. Immaculate Collection, Shohei Ohtani Jumbo Relic. 4 out of 4. Gorgeous card. What's the problem?
So, stop trying to show my DMs. Okay. Picture here. You see Shohei in the corner. The problem isn't that his jersey is airbrushed out. Problem isn't that they misspelled his name or used the team name in the corner. It is a sock, part of a sock relic. They serial stamped it properly in the right space. They spelled Immaculate Collection right. However, part of the sock relic features half or 75% really of the Angels logo.
Okay, so can they do this? Because technically they just bought a sock.
But even still, I don't know that they have any rights to use logos. And in this case, this is a portion thereof of a logo. Look, if Upward equals to Panini over the fact that Michael Jordan's in the very tiny corner on the back of a optic card, I don't see why MLB can't come and say, hey, don't do this again. And it's not just Shohei Ohtani, because here's the Zach Granite card that I was holding off on buying, but Ben kind of jumped the gun. A 4/4, same exact one. Socks. Huge portion of the T, the very top half of the C that interlocks with it.
That's almost complete.
Damn near the Twins logo.
I mean, that's 85%, if not 90. I mean, you're missing the bottom of the C and the little line across the bottom of the T.
Yep.
I looked up A's ones to see what price point and if they did have any A's ones. And I just typed in, Immaculate Collection sock. And
Sure.
there was a couple of Sean Murphy ones, and those also had a significant portion of different parts of the Oakland A's logo. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that quite a few of these, it's not isolated to a couple of players. I think this happened quite a bit, and it'll be interesting to see if there's a lawsuit involved.
Maybe we just alerted someone to it. Here we go.
Yeah, we want credit. We want to be deposed.
Here is a Texas Ranger.
That's
a huge portion of Texas and a huge portion. They're right to the center little marker on the T.
They're good-looking cards. Don't get me wrong. They're fun. They're gorgeous. The jumbo relic. It's nice. Anyhow, yeah. If anybody can shed light on whether or not they can do this, because when I posted, a few people are like, hey, I like that. It's a good-looking card. It's like, that's not the point. We're not talking about whether or not it's a good-looking card. They're all good-looking cards. Look at the Marlins one there. That's the whole M, or just about the whole M. If you scroll down just a little bit more past
portion of New York there.
Yeah, you can scroll down just a hair. There, look at that. That's
all it's missing is the Marlin.
Oh boy! All right, so this one kind of made me giggle. Ryan's Cards LLC posted a picture of a 2020 Leaf certified card from DJ Metcalf. Is he trolling us, or is he laying the foundation for a career after football? His inscription literally says "Future Breaker" along with his autograph.
Willie Calhoun, top and bottom.
What are your thoughts on? I mean, we've seen Benny Montgomery of the Rockies, minor leaguer, that's having all kinds of fun with inscriptions. What do you think about DJ Metcalf saying "Future Breaker" on a trading card?
I mean, I would hope that this would be like future record breaker, but with the amount of athletes that have been coming into the sports card realm, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe he does it amongst local athletes in secret, shady, seedy backroom deals.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Hey, and if I know we've seen other big name players. Who's the baseball pitcher? Is it Neshek? No, not Hughes.
Oh yeah, Pat Neshek.
Is it Neshek that used to break? And I think there's been a couple of other. I know that what was the former offensive line for the Niners that always breaks with Doug and Dan over at Mojo? Joe Staley.
Yep.
But I don't know if Staley just does it as a part of Doug and Dan, or I don't think he's doing it on his own per se. But it's cool to see these guys get involved. I mean, hey, if DJ ever does it, hey, he's got a built-in audience, which assuming will translate into a consumer base. So good for DJ. Kind of made me giggle. It's like, hey, there you go, man. just in case this whole football thing doesn't work out for him, it looks like we know what he's going to do next. So, a couple more quick topics. Problem with Heritage via Johnny C112. John posted a couple pictures of his hobby box of 2020 Heritage. His tweet: not one variation, color insert, etc. Yelich napkin. In other words, just regular relic. A lot of cardboard. Yeah, dude. Welcome to Heritage. That's what it is.
Did you see the speaking of things, Tops? The break where here's their napkin relic. I'll have to pull it up. Someone was doing a break of something Bowman, and he was doing individualized pack breaks. Now, maybe not the best way to sell Bowman, but and the guy said, "Hey, dealer's choice." So the dealer went to pick the third pack down to break for the person, and it was just in the box unopened or opened. So it was like first pack full on unopened, second pack full on unopened, third pack there's the cards just sitting in the box.
Interesting. What breaker was that again?
It wasn't the breaker. I mean, he full on. You can see the full video. He slices the box open, and this was on Top's pack out process.
Huh.
I'll try to find the video here.
Yeah. We all know that different products are built for different collectors. We've talked about this ad nauseum. The onus is on the collector or ripper to know what they're buying before they buy it. Don't buy Allen and Ginter and bitch about non-sports cards and getting an egg or Bitcoin rookie card. Stop. It's what Ginter is. It's been around for 15 years now. We know what it is. Heritage has been around for 20. We know what it is. If you're buying it and getting pissed because there's bad correlation, hey, it's Heritage. Know what you're buying. Know what you're buying before you get little return and take to social media to bitch about it. I mean, he bought an average box of Heritage. That's literally what you're supposed to get because it's for the master. Somebody in the comments had said, yeah, it's a ripoff or it's a scam product, or I forget how he worded it, but basically it's like opening day. It's not worth your money, and it's like it's not opening day. Opening day is an introductory product, a low end product designed for young collectors. It's supposed to be a lower end version of Series 1. Heritage is a ode to the past to honor, a design from, 50 years ago. And it's for master set collectors, just like Allen and Ginter. Like it, don't like it, collect it, don't collect it. But don't buy thinking you're about to get rich off of it. Don't think you're going to get a solid return on your purchase price. You're not.
Here we go.
That's not what Heritage is.
So it's Bowman draft. So here he is opening up the box, still has the cling wrap on it, kicks it aside.
Okay, so everything's good for now, right?
Yep. So he opens the box.
All right, Mash.
Okay, so she's opening the box, showing all of the packs.
Tell me where we're going.
Tell me where we're
Oh,
going.
me. Pressure's on me. Pressure's always on me. All right. I don't know why 3 right stuck out in my head.
And there are the cards.
What in God's name?
Interesting.
Wait, hold up.
So it's a pack that was
presumably
open?
the fourth pack at the bottom.
A pack? What is this?
So it's a pack that had no actual wrapper wrapped around the cards.
What the hell?
Nope.
What are the odds? I don't know who the breaker is, so I don't want to disparage their name. What are the odds that they resealed this box, opened it, pulled something, and put it in there, and they're playing dumb? Again, not trying to disparage, just playing devil's advocate.
That it's possible, sure, but the cling wrap is tight to the box. It doesn't look like it was heat lamped or anything. The video is a little bit longer. We'll retweet it. This is on Tops.
Yeah, it just looks like it didn't get sealed. It got packed out. I mean, interesting. I'd like to watch the whole video, or at least see the continuation of. So we'll tweet that out. I haven't seen it, so I'd like to watch it myself. If you do watch it after we tweet it out, give us your thoughts. We'd love to hear what you have to think, or what you have to say about it, what you think about it. Let us know, just because it is kind of interesting. Let us know if you think there's some shenanigans going, or legit that, hey, this is on tops and whatever pack out company they use.
So maybe my favorite card that I've learned about this year. 52 Tops SGC 1, kind of. It does have a mark indicating that he's 42. But I don't know if you guys can see this. There's some blue guy that's over off there in the corner. Do you want to explain, Ben?
Yeah, so we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Sports Collector Daily gave us an update. The miscut 1952 Topps Jackie Robinson that has the mantle cameo. So if you bought this Robinson, you would have 5% of a 52 mantle as well, and only 95% of the Robinson. Sold at auction for $72,450. And then the next question is that Bobby Thompson to the side of Jackie Robinson with the Jackie Robinson cameo. What did that sell for? You'd have to think that might get a little bit of a bump too, just because of now the lore of.
Well, and especially, maybe someone can pair this up and have a entire, however many 52 Tops print sheet has all the way down to the right.
Whoever bought this Robinson needs to buy the Bobby Thompson. They go together like peanut butter
mantle.
and jelly.
And
Gotta have the mantle too. And if you have 72 grand to drop on a 52 Robinson, I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume you have enough for the mantle too. Perhaps, maybe not, but you're in a different tax bracket than most of us. So, hey, sell your house, go get it. They belong together. Just the three of us. And we're going to end on this note. This is hilarious. If you have not seen this video, it is a TikTok video. I'm not a big fan of TikTok, but whoever did this video absolutely nailed it. This came via David Grizz, Gryz TV, David Grizz TV. And basically the video explains what all breakers, quote unquote, be like. I don't know that Steph has got the video handy to show us. And I'm not logged in, so I can't produce the show. There we go.
I thought I was unmuted. Sorry. Here we go.
You guys absolutely boned me on this break. Spots should have been going for 200 each. You guys are bidding $15. You got to be bidding more than that. You have to be bidding more than that. You know what? Doesn't matter. I don't even do it for money. I just do it for you guys. So appreciate you. All right, guys. Last pack mojo. Let's get it, huh? Something big. Oh, third-year Lamar Jackson base. Huge. Ravens. Lawrence Taylor. Nice. Not bad. Oh, and Alexander Mokatraf. Prism, red, white, blue. Huge. Oh, look at this one, guys. Judge Smith-Schuster. Nice. Big Steelers. Got a Magic Johnson. All right. Last card here. We got a rookie. No way! Bang! Bang! Oh! 2000 Bowman Chrome Mike Anderson rookie. Bang! Oh, that's a huge hit company check comps. That's like a $3-4 card. Bang! You guys absolutely
Hilarious. When he says Juju Smith-Schuster, or however he pronounces Juju's name, that is classic. I love the fact that he used basketball, football, and soccer cards in the same pack.
Right.
Brilliant.
And then threw an old card at the end.
Yeah, and overdid it and banged the top loader up against his desk multiple times to secure it in the loader.
AKA
Hilarious.
the Angela way.
Well, that's funny. That's funny. We'll have to end it on that note. That's a fun video if you haven't seen it. So, unless you have any, you have
a final thought.
You got it.
From The Verge. Stop showing my gems.
Oh, not this.
It is. According to The Verge, Stephen Wilhite, the creator of the GIF, has passed away.
The GIF. Oh, yeah. Hey, that guy.
Rest in peace, sir.
Yes. And
at the age of 74 from COVID.
Poor guy. All joking aside, obviously, rest in peace and thoughts and condolences, and to his family. But he did leave a legacy of is it GIF or GIF, and it will never be solved, unfortunately. So next week, March 30th, episode 196, we have Jeffrey Zelsky ZZZZZ on. He apparently is going to teach me economics, so stay tuned for that one. Episode 197, Alex Visioni, longtime listener, is going to join us, making his About the Cards debut. April 13th, episode 198, Jared Kelly, Topps Living Artist, is going to come back, and they're doing the Topps Living prints now, so we get his thoughts on those. And we're going to channel Matt Major, Cardboard Stats, and see if we can get him on to come on that night as well. And then, unfortunately, Kyle with Collector Caps had to reschedule. He was supposed to be on this evening, so we have him scheduled for April 20th, and then episode 200 on April 27th. We do have a special guest, which we will mention at a later date and time, but it is a big guest, very special. So that's all we got. We appreciate everybody listening, and Tom, hey, thank you for joining us for the first time in the chat. Glad you were able to listen live. All of our regular YouTubers, Rich and Mark and Matt, and Jeremy, and anybody else I might have missed, I apologize.
And of course,
but
Rich for joining us at the beginning of the
Rich,
show.
look at that
Top of the
guy
hour.
hopping on. Look, I mean, Rich is such a cool dude. We could talk to him for hours and hours and hours and never run out of topics.
And
So
he'll only
appreciate
have
him.
to listen to about an hour of the show tomorrow.
That's right. Look at that. And we are going to try to get his wife on one time and talk to her about his organization, because I'm sure she's going to have some thoughts. So remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific
10 Central.
on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and review and like and subscribe and do all that stuff. We're really close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We'd really like to hit that magical mark soon if we can. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at About the Cards. You can follow Steph at Junkwax Twins. You can follow Rich at, what is it, Saber?
SABRGEEK.
Something like that. Saber Geek.
Saber Geek.
And we should all be following him anyway, so that goes without saying. And you can follow me at Our Trading Cards. Please share your hobby stories, great pulls. Send your questions our way and keep collecting.
And we'll see you next week.